One of my very favorite characters, you might call him, in the New Testament is a pretty obscure chap by the name of Andrew. Now, I have kind of an affiliation with Andrew. That was the name of my son who passed away back in 1965. So I always kind of, whenever I see Andrew, I lock on a little bit. And Andrew is supposed to be one of the 12 disciples of Jesus, but there's no content attached to his name in the first three Gospels, so Mark, Matthew, and Luke, part of the synoptic set of Gospels, other than the fact that he was the brother of Peter. That was noted in one of those Gospels. What you might call deferred status is frequently not an asset, but can turn into a pretty heavy burden. Imagine your identity being limited to the fact that you are someone's mother or father or brother or sister or cousin. And that was your big identity role. That can get kind of tough to live with. But in the fourth Gospel, the character of Andrew is developed a bit more. John's Gospel, chapter 1, says that not only was Andrew Peter's brother, but that Andrew was the gatekeeper who opened the door for Peter and who made it possible for Peter to meet Jesus of Nazareth when he was on his travels. Later, John said this is in chapter 6 of the book of John, it said that it was Andrew who brought to Jesus' attention a lad, one among many, in a hungry crowd of 5,000 men, plus women and children, who had offered his 5 loaves and 2 fish to help feed that host. He kind of pops up again there in a story that we've all come to know and love and appreciate. Andrew seems to have been one for whom no gift was too small to be honored or too insignificant to be effectively used. Still later, John's Gospel in chapter 12 portrays a group of Greek citizens coming to Andrew in their quest to meet Jesus. And it is Andrew who then serves as their guide and leads them to that encounter. Andrew was not a spectacular human being in the play of things, not even a leader. Indeed, he was rather ordinary, like most of us, just an ordinary guy. He did what anyone is capable of doing, opening doors, appreciating small gifts, directing people to important relationships. Andrew has been called the patron saint of ordinary people, which is what most of us are, just patron saints of ordinary people. Few of us will ever achieve political power or lead an army or found a large corporation or change the world or even start a religion. But the world, more often than not, turns on the gifts of ordinary people, not on heroes. No one achieves success without being the beneficiary of the gifts of countless numbers of those who are, like Andrew, just pretty ordinary. One such blessing occurred through the auspices of a man named Fleming. Was his name. He was a poor Scottish farmer. One day, while trying to make a living for his family, he heard a cry for help coming from a nearby bog. That's kind of like a swamp in Scotch. He dropped his tools, ran to the bog, and there, mired up to his waist in black muck, was a terrified boy, screaming and struggling to free himself. Farmer Fleming saved the lad from what could have been a slow and a terrifying experience. The next day, a fancy carriage pulled up to the Scotsman's sparse surroundings. An elegantly dressed nobleman stepped out and introduced himself as the father of the boy Farmer Fleming had saved. "I want to repay you," said the nobleman. "You saved my son's life." "No, I can't accept payment for what I did," the Scottish farmer replied, waving off the offer. No. At that moment, the farmer's own son came to the door of the family hovel. "Is that your son?" the nobleman asked. "Oh, yes," the farmer replied proudly. I'll make you a deal then. Let me provide him with the level of education my own son will enjoy. If the lad is anything like his father, he'll no doubt grow to be a man we both will be proud of. And indeed, he did. Farmer Fleming's son attended the very best schools, and in time graduated from St. Mary's Hospital Medical School